Get your tickets now, you filthy motherfuckers.
You so freaking bad. Wrestle me.
I mean, as far as themes that I love, I mean, again, I love Rick Rude and Demolition, so I'm always going to have a soft spot in my heart for those.
I got to send you a video. I was fucking around the other day. I have my acoustics always sitting out and ready to go, you know?
That's how you learn how to play guitar.
Yeah, exactly. And then I get on the fucking electric and it's like butter, you know? It's like, oh yeah, I got these thick-ass acoustic strings, you know? But I'm sitting there playing and my kid's fucking on the couch playing his tablet, my 3-year-old. And I'm like, dun, 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 dun. Like everything's in like G and like E minor, you know? It's like, I'm like, wait a minute, you could do Stone Cold, you could bust out, oh, you didn't know, you know? And then I'm like, wait, that sounds like fucking Derringer, dude. That's the fucking Demolition. And I'm like, like a 20-second thing, just sitting there. I sang the open. I'm like, here come the accent, here come the smasher. Like, I mean, he's like, Dad, it's too loud. It's too loud.
So I know it's good.
Yeah, I gotta say that clip though. It's fucking hilarious. But yeah, man, let's go. Let's get into fucking wrestling fucking music, man.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I mean, there's just so much good stuff, and like the search to find everything to make sure we had it in the game that was right.
Yeah.
Again, I mean, Demolition might be my favorite theme. I love. God damn, let me think here. I mean, it was cool to. All right, so Bam Bam Bigelow's theme with the saxophone.
Yeah,
it doesn't exist anywhere. You will never find it. I mean, I've searched high and low. Orson even reached out to some of the musicians that were on the track, like the guy who played guitar.
That's some shit you might have to soul seek, you know?
It was just not. It wasn't coming up. So we had it remade for the game, and I had it. Like I took the stems and I tried to like piece things back. And so we, you know, that was one that it wasn't going to feel right if we didn't have that one. So we remade that one for the game. So it's like that was a cool little project. In the, you know, again, just in the interest of having everything complete.
Oh yeah,
that Bam Bam sax theme. Jake Roberts has like 2 classic themes.
Oh, trust me.
Yeah, like the
dude, that original one hits so hard. It's like a sadistic Miami Vice like theme. That's why I think of like I have a bull terrier now, and I'm fortunate because I always think of like Miami Vice and bull terriers, and from when I was a kid, you know, like Bud Light, Spuds McKenzie, and Jake the Snake's Roberts theme song. That's a legit thought in my fucking weird brain. Like, I was like, holy shit!
Yeah, it's that trancey weird like.
Yeah, man.
That was
my god. That's fucking
dude, Jive Soul Bro. Jive Soul Bro.
Oh, you were Jive Soul Bro. I'm so glad you guys got the fucking Doctor of Style in this game.
Yeah. Oh man, Slick is like one of my very favorite managers from the time. Slick was great. Slick was amazing.
He fucking rules, man. I'm so happy you guys got
so good. He was so good, and he was always. I mean, always just to every sense was entertaining. Like he'd be out there dancing or. You know, putting his face and they go turn out the lights, the party's over, like Warlord beating the ground. And his suits, you know, like his flat caps and his colorful suits and stuff. Man,
I'm so pissed he's out the game because like he could show up in AEW or somewhere and just like manage some fucking heel, you know, like do some old school heel shit, you know, like he found Jesus. I think he's a preacher now and shit, but man, that'd be how dope would that be to have fucking the Slicks come back.
And I'm all for whatever Slick wants to do to make him happy. I want that. That's what I want. I'm wishing for whatever Slick likes. And if that's on being on television, even better. Yeah, man, I'm glad we still have Slick.
Yeah, he's a fucking national treasure. That's for damn sure.
Man, exactly.
Bret Hart's theme always fucking ripped too, man.
Oh yeah, yeah. We got the older one in there.
Yeah, the older one is fucking. Awesome.
Like
and the Rockers.
The power riff at the beginning came a little later, so we didn't put that one in there. But the old like super crunchy one we've got in there.
Yeah. What about the fucking Rockers, dude?
The Rockers theme is great. Yeah, it's almost like the Warriors theme a little bit. You know, it's like
Yes, dude. And that Warriors has got to be ultimate. Like from that time, dude. When he passed, I had a couple of his figures setting up on my Line 6 Spider, and I fucking played that on electric. You know, like R.I.P. Warrior. You know, like that one just hits really hard.
It was just it couldn't have been made any better. It was the whole Warrior package was just. Again, like we talked about the Road Warriors, it's just everything hit. Everything was right on. I wouldn't have changed. If you changed anything about it, it might not have worked.
Exactly, dude. That I'll never forget, like the Toys R Us posters I had on my wall as a kid. It was the Hogan one with the tape, you know, tape measure going all around. It's a side view. He's got the biceps, the deltoids,
24-inch python, brother.
Yeah, the pythons, and then the Warrior one where it's like the neon, like pink and green, and he's just standing there like and all fucking freaked out.
That's the pose we have him in on the select screen. It's like that classic, dude. Man, those guys were for a kid. It was like. I guess that's just the way that like that exists in the world.
Yeah. And you
real life
didn't,
superhero.
Yeah, man. And like it's weird like watching them even as you get older, like and you're like, as a kid, I guess I didn't really know what the fuck he was saying, you know, like, should I lay on the lawn and let lawnmowers run over me? Should I travel to Africa and be trampled by raging elephants?
Yeah.
Hogan, you know, like I know what the fuck he was saying, but that shit got me pumped, you know, like. And then you grow older and like I still watch it. I was like, okay, I still know it's him. It's still fucking awesome. That was him though. That was Jim Hellwig. Like he was the Warrior, dude. All those guys were them. That's the most
right. And that's what I love so much about that WWF 80s, early 90s. It was everything from the territories, everything that was the Wild West world of pro wrestling. Like, I mean, these people were they were crazy people on tour. You know,
they were rock stars. They were rock stars, plain and simple.
Yeah, they were rock stars, but they were like people who would otherwise been bouncers or like flame out football players or just that they all convert like and so in the 80s they all funneled to the WWF and it was like this giant glow of all of that, like this giant like fire and to have them and then they'd put them on television. So you had a guy like the Ultimate Warrior, like this guy, just put him on TV, see get them all jacked up and see what he's got to say. And like whatever was the most compelling is what got pushed through. But I mean, all these guys were so memorable. I mean, from the top to the bottom, like even
you're talking Honky Tonk Man, and his song kind of kicks ass.
Honky Tonk Man song.
FTW.
Yeah. Honky Tonk.
He's cool. He's cocky. He's bad.
Dude, Jimmy Hart, man. Jimmy Hart, what a crazy person that is.
Yeah, man. And what was the band? He had a hit back in the 60s, 70s?
Yeah. I mean, I used to listen to the oldie stations and I knew Keep On Dancing. I had no idea it was Jimmy Hart.
Dick Biondi back in the day, man. You know? 4.3 if you're in Chicagoland. I think he just recently passed, so R.I.P. But Dick Biondi. Fuck yeah.
Honky Tonk Man song was great. I don't know so much honky love. Like I want
it's just a honky love. Dude,
him and Greg Valentine with the jet black hair.
Yes.
The guitar going like this.
He was such a brick shit house, just like motherfucking fleshy ass statue looking motherfucker. But he ruled, and who could ever forget the dog collar match with Piper, come on.
Oh yeah, Valentine was, man. That's the thing is like when I make this game, when I like work on new guys, like it gives me a chance to sit there and like really appreciate, like go like take a long. And I love all these motherfuckers. Like I love everything about.
Yes.
I love the whole thing from top to bottom, even things I didn't like so much. I have a love for, and I want it all to be perfect. I want it all to be represented with everything it deserves.
Yeah, and dude, I mean, it totally comes off like that, man. It totally comes off. Is there anybody? I'm trying to think here. How would I word this? So, you think you guys would dive back like into the old school at all? Like I know I alluded to earlier about DLC and shit coming out like different eras and shit, but like I mean like anything like Bruno Sammartino 70s and shit, you know, your superstar Billy Grahams or anything?
Yeah, that's the one that when you say that I most think of is like a superstar Billy Graham. I wasn't alive and I didn't see much of it, but I mean that.
But he was a part of that 80s connection, you know. I like remember that superstar when he was bald, hanging with the tarantulas in Arizona, you know, like
all his face and stuff.
Yeah, dude. I have tarantulas. I'm a fucking fan, dude. So I'm like, this guy fucking kicks ass. And the tie-dyes, you know, the tower of power, too sweet to be sour, you know, like that dude fucking.
Billy Graham. You understand?
I just picked up a fucking big ass picture of him, Beckett certified at a local card shop. It's him and Arnold in the gym back in the day. And both of them are just like,
oh yeah, doing the side. Yeah.
The side, you know, the side pose and autographed by Superstar, man. I was like, fuck yeah. It was like the stars align.
He ended up like in his later, I guess the last half of his life, he was a painter. I guess it was his thing. He would paint. So that's pretty sweet. But I mean, that's not the thing. It's like 80s Billy Graham will absolutely be, and I really want to draw him sooner than later. But I think it would be fair game. Like we're trying to keep this game in between 84, 85, and 93, basically the whole Hulkamania era. But since Billy Graham's already going to be in the game and it had happened previous, it seems to me fair game to kind of pop one of them, you know, a couple of them.
You
70s.
got to, you know, you guys are throwing every little attention to detail in, you know, throw some of those 70s, you know, superstar, you know.
Plus he looks so cool with the kind of balding blonde hair and the big sideburns, and he was in great shape. I mean, I'd want to play as Billy Graham.
Yeah, that's another one that was like, I mean, he was very opinionated. He had some fucking whatever bullshit with the, you know, the Fed and whatnot and some weird views. But as far as influential wrestler goes, you look at like some of the biggest names ever that have drawn fucking money in this fucking sport, and bar none influenced by him. You know, your Hulk Hogan, fucking Ric Flair, dude, Dusty Rhodes, Scott Steiner, you know, like
Jesse
Ventura, just with Flair and Hogan alone and Dusty, think of how much wrestling history is erased. Yeah, you know, if you don't have a superstar, dude, like.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that anybody who came in with the body, I don't think there was really anybody who had
Jesse the body.
You know, there wasn't like ripped jack dudes in wrestling. I don't know that there was. I mean, I guess there were a few, and I mean, I'm not previous to, you know, like the kind of era I'm talking about. I don't profess to.
Well, most of those guys were just old school. Were swinging kettlebells, drinking beer, fucking. Like, even a guy like Bob Backlund, you know, who was
he was jacked, but I mean. Nobody was the body guy. Nobody
was juicing, yeah. The superstar. Right? The tarantulas.
Dude, and some of those promos, if you look back, like when he passed away, 6 or so months ago or whatever, and I kind of went back and looked at all I could find from him, and he was just
great, dude.
Dude, I fucking love listening to Billy Graham speak.
I know, man. He was on one. Have you ever seen that documentary they did?
That was one of the better ones. Yeah, I bought that DVD back.
I have that DVD.
That was great.
Yeah, 20 years too soon or some shit like that.
Yeah, 20 years too soon.
Man.
Billy Graham. I read his book too, which I thought was pretty good. I mean, he was. It's one of those things working on a game like this where, you know, all the years that have passed and you find out things about people's personal lives, or, you know, they'll say some stuff that doesn't make you happy. But to me, it's like everything in context. It's like in the context of this game, they're all still superheroes and they're all still exactly what you remember them being. And you know, it's separating the art from the artist, I guess, which you have to do. I mean, as the years have gone on, you can find out everybody's life story at the touch of a finger through the internet. I mean, you have to do that a lot, I guess. But
Chris Benoit will never be DLC, right? You know.
only because he doesn't fit the era, right? Because otherwise,
right, exactly.
just as an effort to keep everything.
Let me ask you this though. So in making this game, as you're going back and, you know, developing, putting out this roster and shit, and a lot of these guys, pretty much everybody, I'm sure you're fucking like, you know about, has there been anything that, you know, maybe this evoked a memory? I'm going to do a little deep dive on this guy now, and any shit that like you didn't know from before that was kind of like, oh, wow, what the fuck? And it doesn't have to be controversial or anything, but is there anything that's kind of like, you know, some shit you went back now with adult eyes and seen and developing this game, and you find some like, I never knew fucking, you know, Hulk Hogan was related to this guy or whatever, some shit like that.
Oh, I'm sure that there's got to be some things that I discovered, but I mean, I do that where I deep dive everybody, especially as I'm working on them, and it's more. I don't know that there's anything like any big revelation because I mean, the internet's been around long enough, and I've been using the internet as my means to figure out wrestling stuff for so long now that I've we kind of.
And there's Dark Side of the Ring.
Yeah, I mean, I have enjoyed that for the most part. It's I hate thinking negatively about wrestling because it's so easy to do, and it seems like it doesn't help me any. I use wrestling as an outlet. It's like it's a chance to it's an escape. It's like it's a chance to go back in childhood. Everything is still as it was. Everything is innocent or whatever. But so I try not to, like, even when I do find out things that I don't like, I try and just kind of keep everything in context and keep a broader perspective on it. It's like, I mean, it's tough with wrestling, because I mean, these were men. But as far as things I found out that I didn't know before, I don't know if there's anything specific, but it is nice to go back and, like, we did Paul Orndorff, I think last month, and it'd been a while since I kind of like focused on Paul Orndorff. That guy was amazing. That guy was cool.
Well, yeah, that too. I mean, is there shit like that? Like fucking, oh, this is a segment I never caught. That's like, oh,
actually, yeah. Thinking about that, I had never really watched much of WCW in its dying days, and I didn't realize that he had come back. He was great. And but I guess he was in a 6-man tag or something. He gave somebody a pile driver, and then like ended up with a stinger, but he collapsed and just couldn't. Like, they had to stretcher him out. Like, that was his last match. So I didn't know that. That was kind of.
Dude, he was training down there at the WCW power plant. He was training those guys.
Yeah.
And realistically, what better guy to have fucking train you than fucking Mr. Wonderful? A guy who's legit.
Definitely wouldn't want to disappoint him.
No, man. Even if I remember, it was a Russo thing. So like towards the dying days of WCW, where he was out there doing a fucking arm wrestling competition with somebody. I forget what it was, but the guy's like, "No, I'll use that arm," because he had like that atrophy or whatever.
The atrophy arm,
bicep. So he fucking did it with a weak arm. I can't remember if he beat him or not. I think he still did, but I was like, man, that's fucked up. Yeah, they're fucking doing that. Like Scott Hall's an alcoholic. Yeah, let's make a story about it.
At a certain point there in like 99 or whatever, people were it's like, all right, well, let's think of the one thing that we shouldn't do and do it because people won't expect it. It's like, all right, well, we didn't expect it, but we also didn't want it,
Yeah. Outside of wrestling, though, a lot of these guys had, I mean, dude, bigger than life personas, right? A lot of these guys crossed over. Obviously we know about Hulk Hogan. We know about, fucking, what is it, Mr. Nanny and Suburban Commando, like Undertaker. You're a dead man, Ramsey. Shit like that, dude. A lot of these guys did some of this stuff. I mean, you want to, I wouldn't really consider it a deep dive anymore because everybody knows about it now. There's toys of it, but like Roddy Piper and They Live and shit, and Hell Comes to Town. What's been some, like, out of these crop of wrestlers that you guys have in your game, what's some of your like multimedia like favorites or memories of some of these guys? Well, I even recall like Ultimate Warrior Jim Hellwig doing like a UPN thing in like, I don't know, like a mid-late 90s, some shitty movie. It was like,
damn, that one I need to look up. I didn't see that.
There's something out there.
Because I imagine that as long as they had him playing something adjacent to the Ultimate Warrior, he would have probably been awesome to look at.
Oh, dude. I mean, he was always awesome to look at, but it was fucking. But yeah, what's that shit that you enjoy, man?
The Princess Bride, I mean, that's a classic.
Yeah, anybody want a peanut?
Yeah. I mean, that's just a good movie. Dude,
I just saw Super 7 figures of them the other day. I was at the mall getting a new pair.
I saw those too. Yeah, they got like Inigo and Wesley.
They got them all.
Those were my kids. I mean, like, again, I had kids young, so it's like that movie I watched my whole life. It's carried through. But King Kong Bundy was in Moving with Richard Pryor.
Yes.
Married with Children.
Yes.
And I grew up in New Jersey, so dude, it would be funny. We'd go to like a diner or something, and there would be a picture on it, like a signed picture of King Kong Bundy on the wall. It happened more than once because in Jersey, it's like we had Bundy.
You had Bundy, but dude. Fucking, you had Bam Bam Bigelow, dude.
Beast,
dude.
Yeah, I met him at dude. Me and my family went to an ECW show. It was on a baseball field back in '97, and Yeah, because we used to see the ECW, like, you know, the cable access or whatever show they had, the local like broadcast. It would come on like 11 o'clock at night on a Saturday or
Oh
something.
yeah,
So
ECW television up here in Chicago, like after fucking Man Cow or some shit.
So we were excited. We were going to go to ECW, and we're wandering around. The wrestlers are all over the place. Sandman is drinking beers at the top of like where the I don't know, it was like a scorekeeper or something. He was like on this giant chair up in the air, just talking to people and just throwing beer cans down and stuff. And then over here, Bam Bam Bigelow, poor dude, is just trying to have a conversation with his wife, and his kids are running around. And like me and my brothers, like, we remember Survivor Series and '87 and stuff. And Bam Bam's like, he was kind. He gave us his time. He didn't have to. It was like, in hindsight, we should have just left him alone. You know, he was just over there living his life. He's with his wife and kids. And we're, just talking to him. I remember saying something about Survivor Series '87. He's like, "You're making me feel old." But yeah, Bam Bam, man. It's we had Bam Bam. We had Bundy. Who else did we have from Jersey?
DDP, right?
DDP's from New Jersey. I feel like there's a handful.
Dude, you got Glenn Danzig, man. Come on.
Yeah, Jersey's got some stuff. I mean,
Jersey got some stuff. The Misfits. I mean, come on.
I'm proud of Jersey. We had, we had Sinatra and shit.
Oh, there you go. Keeping it classy. I like it. Keeping it classy. You had Kevin Smith.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Hell yeah. We had Snooki, but we don't talk about that.
What? Who?
Snooki. We don't talk about that.
Oh, I thought you said Mooney again.
Who?
What else? I'm trying to think. So, dude, I mean, obviously another big one, and you guys got in the game. Dude, you got fucking Debo, you got Zeus.
Yeah, the human wrecking machine.
Yes, dude, that shit as a kid, I own that on DVD, VHS, and I have fucking the Blu-ray of No Holds Barred, man. Like,
yeah, man, it's so, nobody's going to say, what a high quality piece of cinema, but this shit is wonderful to watch.
Yeah.
What's that smell?
Dookie.
Hey, I don't know what award that would win, but I'd vote.
Dude, it had the guy from Wayne's World too. The guy who's like,
yeah, for real.
Love you, man. He's like, okay.
Yeah. It was the evil TV executive or whatever.
Yeah, that guy was evil.
Hulk Hogan murdered at the end of the film.
I know, right?
Spoiler alert.
Fucking Zeus, man. That's another guy that we lost, man. Like, and crossover shit, multimedia, dude. Like Debo, like that's Mabach. My grandma.
Yeah. Dude, I wasn't expecting Zeus to go. That was a strange one.
No, man. And he's been in everything. That guy's been in fucking everything, man. Like,
he was
great.
He was super charismatic, especially even when he was just the monster just smacking. I mean, dude, Zeus was great. It's such a small window of his wrestling career was such like a small little thing that it's memorable enough. I'd pop him in the game.
Didn't Bulldog? He appeared on some. I want to say. I wanted to throw on. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm trying to pull this off from my old memory. It wasn't Baywatch. I know Hogan and Flair and like Vader and them did that, but I want to say, dude, Bulldog was on something too with Sting. I think.
Dude, it was Thunder in Paradise.
Was it Thunder in Paradise?
I think so. I mean, maybe. Oh no! It was the WCW that did like vignettes for their one of their shows, and it was Sting and Bulldog on the beach, and then Vader and Sid. And, yeah, the White Castle of Fear. I think maybe was.
Yes, holy shit.
I lost your audio, man. I can't hear you. There we go. You're back.
But yeah, it's like you look back at that stuff, man, and it's like it is fucking silly. But even still to this day, with older eyes on it, it's like it's fucking silly, but it's still great, man. That shit fucking rules. Like, why the fuck is this happening?
Yeah, that's the thing. Is like I'm not gonna go ahead and like take somebody and sit them down and say, "Hey, watch this. It's just the best." But I mean, to me, I could say.
I would though. I would. I'm like, hey, I'm a fucking weird, goofy motherfucker. If you don't like it, I think we can hang out.
Yeah, it's definitely a nice way to be like, hey, would you really like to know about me? Because watch this vignette with Sting and the British Bulldog on the beach in 1993. You don't like it? No. Dude, the one with Jake Roberts though, the spin the wheel, make the deal.
Dude, spin the wheel, make the deal. The coal miner on the glove.
I actually love that. Those
coal miner's
I
glove
feel like
match.
Jake the Snake could have done some more acting in that thing.
Dude, he's to me like, and I think Raven's pretty good. Maybe he's up there with Jake, not as close as Jake, but like it's just great minds for the business. You know, like Jake was so the psychology of wrestling, the delivery. You look at everybody back in the day, and even the guys that claimed like I never had to yell or scream to get my promo across. I guarantee you I can find 5 promos right now where you did. Jake never had to do that, and he felt menacing. But at the same time, still appealed to like a young punk kid like me that's like in the woods catching turtles and snakes and lizards. And it's like, Jake the Snake Roberts, oh shit. Fuck, I fucking love him. He's got fucking Magnum PI, mustache, Magnum TA. I don't give a fuck. You know, he looks fucking awesome. His music is menacing and shit. And he's talking like this. And he's just,
right.
You know, trust me, you know, like in the snake pit. It was so like, I loved when they blended him with the Taker. When Taker first came in, because I always felt that like Undertaker was this thing, right? He's this zombie fucking Undertaker, right? Whatever his character is. To me, Jake always felt more evil, more sinister, like the devil, dude. You know, like
Jake was the devil himself.
Dude, he was so fucking great in the DDT. You know, like come on,
Jake was so good. Now just sitting here talking about all this, like Jake was, dude. There was nobody like Jake Roberts. He did everything different.
When he popped back up in AEW probably 3 or 4 years ago when they started and Lance Archer came out.
I went.
Guy. You went to that?
No, I didn't go there, but I sought out. Like I heard Jake Roberts had made an appearance. So I'm like, oh, I gotta find this.
I watched that replay like 45 times of that clip. Something ridiculous. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's not an exaggeration. It was a god awful lot because I'm a sick bastard. But when I'm just passionate, dude, as we all are, right? That's why we're here. Him getting in the ring and just coming up and like smelling the ropes and feeling the ropes and like touching the ropes.
Jake
felt that.
Especially whenever guys come back after a while. Like I remember the clip where Vader came back and did a match and they squashed somebody. And
was that like what's his name? Heath? I think it was Heath in WWE or something.
Yeah.
He still had the giant belly, but he's still fucking.
He looked so happy. He looked. If you look at the end of that clip and he's like soaking it in, he looked so happy, and it was like that. That's the shit I live for. I live to see that. Like I love that stuff. So to see Jake come back and do Jake stuff on television. Shit, more of that, please. Dude, the thing, the match he had at Tuesday in Texas with Randy Savage, where he ended up, Elizabeth comes out and he's like, "There's no snake. I got no snake." And he slaps Elizabeth and stuff. The promo he cuts after that match, where he's like, "Look, just promise me one thing. Bring her back. Let me touch her again." It's like, oh my God, Jake Roberts was. I mean, he was just I mean, I don't want to say pure evil, but like that promo right there, one of the
words can't describe how good that guy was. Like
that was just so good. That was like
to me, psychology. He's probably the pinnacle, the top. To me,
because again, on that card, you're going to have other things like like the Barbarian versus Bret Hart. It's a cool match. Papa Shango doing cool stuff. He looked awesome, but nothing was going to make you feel something the next day like whatever Jake Roberts had just done.
Yeah. Dude, I like I said, I hate seeing the DDT being bastardized. And shout out to Stratton, our lovely. And he always hated that, like, dude, like, move, you should be able to kick out of that. And a lot of days of wrestling now, modern shit, like, guys are taking 4 or 5 finishers and kicking out. Like, we're old school. Like, it's called a finisher for a fucking reason. And if you kick out of it, you better fucking have a very special match. It means something very special if you're kicking out of a finisher, The DDT has been so fucking bastardized. Like, I used it in high school on the motherfucker. He was pissed I was playing defense hard on him in basketball, and he came at me. I grabbed him, whoop, thumped his ass down to DDT, and I got pulled off. It worked.
Shit, that will work. DDT is not, won't let you down.
Speaking of shit like that working, man, as a wrestling fan yourself, dude, and what would you say would be some of your favorite finishers, especially with a lot of these guys you guys got going on in the game? There's so many memorable ones, and they all had like for lack of a better term, gimmick names, you know, like we're talking about the Nasty Boys, you know, the pit stop, you know, they weren't all as simple as, you know, the leg drop, you know, there was the $1 Million Dream, the DDT, you know, the Doomsday Device.
Yeah, when DDT has to be number one on the list of finishers, but you know, especially within the realm of this game. But I mean, as a Rick Rude fan, I love the Rude Awakening.
Oh, the Rude Awakening's right there with it, dude. Because think about doing that to somebody, you fucking kill them. Fucking snap their fucking neck. You know?
And then to do that to somebody, and then to have the gall to like then roll over and like put your hands like this on them, and that's the pin.
Right? Yeah, and then go home and fuck their wife. You know.
He didn't even bother to go home. He just walked over there.
We're talking about Jake Roberts. You remember that shit with fucking Rick Rude's wife?
Yes, sir. Just put this airbrush in the 80s too. It's like that's some stuff to do in the 80s. Have the man's wife airbrush on his crotch and his ass. And then gyrate.
Yeah, gyrate being ripped as fucking shit. The motherfucker was ripped torn, man. I don't care.
Shit, man. I mean, the Warriors finisher was always cool to see just because he was just, you know, they call it the gorilla press, like this gorilla somebody up into the air and then run and you didn't even have to splash him at that point, but he still would. I love Demolition, so I love the LOD's Doomsday was awesome. The Doomsday device was awesome.
LOD. Oh, God damn it. I go all fucking day about Legion of Doom, man. They're just, it sucks that like what happened to them happened. And we just lost Animal a few years back, and he was one I actually got to meet, and he was so fucking cool. When we put the pads on and shit, and like it was fucking surreal, you know. Like I did the whole Hawk thing, you know, to him, like, well, yeah, it was just, he appreciated it, you know. And I saw him in the fucking bathroom. I'm taking a piss, and he's like taking off his makeup, and I'm like, oh shit, I shouldn't be here right now, you know. I told fucking dork Mark shit. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. I'm a Mark, you know, and it's like, oh man, makeup coming off. He's like, yeah, I gotta get out here. Yeah, it's time to go. I'm like, all right, cool. Thanks for showing up. He's like, no, thank you. And I'm like, all right, yeah, cool. Fuck yeah.
That was one I didn't see coming, man. Because he seemed like he was living a pretty normal life. I mean, he seemed like a, you know, pretty. He managed to reach relatively old age and like keep his stuff together, and you know, he was. So I was surprised to see him go, and that was yeah. Not both LOD are gone.
Are we gonna get Paul Ellering at any point in this game?
I mean, it's fair game, totally. I mean, I don't know if we can manage to craft Rocco up.
Oh fuck, dude! Fuck you for bringing up Rocco. You know, I just need a copy of the Wall Street Journal. Leave the fucking puppet at home, Vince.
That is great. There's so much, like most of the things from that era.
Yes, bring Rocco.
I can find a way to make peace with and like kind of dig. Like even the Red Rooster, I could be like, I like
Terry Taylor.
Yeah, right. But Rocco, I've got no love for Rocco. I don't even know if a kid I didn't really get it then.
That's like a little rib. It's like, why can't you just make these dudes the badass motherfuckers coming out the Black Sabbath? You know, like nothing more
strange. Because I feel like Paul Ellering hadn't been back for a long. Like I feel like Paul Ellering
came back at 8. Remember that?
What's that?
WrestleMania 8 when I was fucking there. That's when he came back.
The train.
Yeah.
It was like we're like a runaway train. No one driving. Scary now. Look who's driving the train.
Remember, what did he say? Something about a booger? They're like a booger. It moves between your finger. Then you flick that booger. Booger.
Hawk could pretty much do any of it.
Dude, I loved fucking Hawk, dude. Like, those were hard, man. Both those guys were super hard to take. You know, we're talking about wrestlers going like, those dudes were just fucking badass motherfuckers, dude. Yeah, and they had the Chicago roots. It's Chicago, Minnesota, you know, fucking Midwest cat. Like, I like that. Just that area.
Yeah, I mean, they should have had a longer. They should have had a chance to soak it in more. You know, just kind of, especially Hawk. Hawk has been gone for so long.
Yeah, it's like, he finally cleaned himself up and got sober. He pulled the Stevie Ray Vaughan, got sober, and then fucking died.
Yeah,
you know?
It's shit. That's sobering in and of itself. I remember Kamala died recently, and you know, I like empty. I loved Kamala so much that. I knew it was like coming. It wasn't like it was a big surprise and he was in poor health, but like I just hated to see Kamala go. I ended up donating to. I had no money. It was the pandemic, but I ended up donating to his funeral just because it's like, man, that's the least I could do. Like,
Yeah.
for all the joy Kamala's brought me over the years.
Dude, we had his name's lapsing me right now. That's fucking embarrassing. But we had the guy who wrote his book for him on the
Kenny
show.
Casanova.
Kenny Casanova, thank you. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
Kenny. I'm fucking an idiot. You know, Yingling Oktoberfest. Happy fucking October, by the way. 'Tis the season. Let's get harvested for sorrow.
It's harvest. Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
But dude, he was on the show, and it was weird because if I go back, this is like 2 years ago now, and it's like maybe 3 when COVID first happened. It took like almost a year for me to get COVID, and I didn't know at the time because we were doing a couple episodes in a row, you know, and I had him on, and afterwards I remember wrapping up and I'm all in. I was like, hey babe, take my temp. You know, I was like, I don't feel good. I ended up having COVID, and I cut like 2 or 3 episodes. I was running like over 100-degree temperature, you know, but he's a guy that I've been talking to on social media for a long time now, and he's worked with a lot of these dudes. So when he was on to talk about Kamala and how he set everything up for him, and dude, he had a great impersonation of him. He was like, man, he was such a sweetheart of a fucking guy, though. He's like, he made sure no one took advantage of him or anything. Like, that's, you know, super fucking cool, man.
Yeah, I'm glad that you know, I mean, Kamala got to see some of the appreciation we all had for him in his later years. And some guys weren't so lucky. Like Rude, man. Rude was just 99, 40 years old before there was any kind of like, I mean, he was still, it was barely outside of his own era at that time. I can't stand thinking about all that we missed with Rick Rude and all that Rick Rude missed.
Well, and here's the thing with Rude, you always heard the rumors, and I just found this out several years ago that he was supposedly training for a comeback. And I remember at the time I thought I heard some, but you know, he was a part of that. If you know about the Lloyds of London fucking deal, where he couldn't really do that, and I don't know the ins and outs of that, but he was training. You know, he wanted to do something. He showed up in ECW too. He's the only guy that showed up in all 3 of those promotions in the same week.
Well, I remember being so excited when I because I mean, we would randomly catch ECW. We were kids; it was on late. But when I saw Rude on there, I was like, I have to watch this every week. And then then he showed up on Raw with the insurance policy thing, the famous thing where he was on. So yeah, he was like managing Bam Bam Bigelow on ECW with DX on Raw, and then showed up with the NWO and WCW the same.
Because dude, week. Rick Rude was that motherfucking cool, dude. That's fucking why, dude.
Rick Rude, he should have been the dude to do that. You know, if anybody was going to do that, it needed to be Ravishing Rick Rude.
Dude, man, and tell me like Val Venus wasn't like a fucking little nod like they carry. I mean, a porn star. But
anybody who puts their hands behind their head and swivels to me is going to be like, you must show proper respect to the Ravishing one.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, and dude, that whole Minnesota crew. Like I said, we were talking about the Road Warriors,
Berserker, perfect.
Yeah, and fucking
Nikita Koloff.
Yeah, what's his name from Demolition too?
Smash, yeah. I love Smash. He seems like such a good dude too. I met both Demolition. My son was really young, and he got like it's like tickets to a Comic-Con. He got him. He won them somehow, or I don't know. We ended up at a Comic-Con somehow, and Demolition were there, and I had made him like a little like Demolition hoodie with like studs in the hood, and like Smash, and they got a kick out of that. It was cool to see.
Dude, as we kind of wind down here, let people know right now where they can support you guys. Like you guys got like a Patreon where they can get info on the game. We're going to have a link to the download, you know, cool. Whether you guys are listening in podcast land or watching on YouTube, any of that shit. So, but where guys can find you at and support the content.
Yeah. God, I don't really even know what the link is because we never expected to make one, to be honest. We put the game out and then it was suggested like immediately, like, how can we donate to these guys? It's like, well, we'll make a Patreon. But with that said, it's really been a joy to have that and to, because like we talk about because again, I mean, I'm here talking to you, but like, yes, it's a team. And
it's community helping community, fans helping fans. Like that's great. That's punk rock, dude. In my heart, that's where I'm at. That's DIY, taking something you love and supporting each other, dude. Like,
well, it's mind blowing to see people come out and like, you know, support it that way. It's
Yeah.
really awesome, and it's we're even talking now about ways we can kind of put that into the game, the money, right? We're gonna make it. We're having these automate. We're gonna see if we can get some things, kind of some bugs and things fixed. So, but yeah, no, the Patreon. I mean, we're gonna be releasing things early there. Like Orndorff is out there, and he hasn't been released publicly yet because it's just like it seems to me, make something immediately, give it to the Patreon, to, patrons or whatever, and then package everything up and make public releases once or twice a month with like everything in it. But as we go, put it out on Patreon. And there's things where people kind of get to select the new attires that we're going to draw, or like kind of have influence on what wrestlers go in next.
Didn't you guys just have you had a tournament, right?
Dude, that was a really cool guy named Bloody Bill Box, I think is his name. And that's all him. We had nothing to do with it. He's doing some really cool stuff, like really awesome to see. He's made some graphics and things. And so I thought it was awesome. So in support of that, it was like he did that tournament. It's like, all right, well, whoever wins is going to correspond to whatever wrestler goes in next. So Mr. Perfect won, and he's going to get the Genius.
Hell yeah.
Another thing we made up the jobbers for the game are like made up guys.
Yeah, so one of them when they pick them, he's like,
yeah, they're all wobbly and like holding their neck and stuff. So I figured it would be a kind of a cool thing on Patreon if we haven't done it yet, but I'm going to do a new wave of those guys, and it's like if anybody wants to be, have the jobbers made in their image, like.
Yeah, dude.
Put them in a game, and squash them, put some like funky looking tights on them, and have Earthquake sit on them.
Right? Oh, dude.
Stuff like
John
that.
Tenta, man. R.I.P. Golga. Remember Golga?
Yeah, I remember rubbing the bumps on his head and stuff.
So real quick before we end here too, I want to catch, just as a wrestling fan, outside of obviously this generation of what your game is involved with, what were you watching? Did you stop at any point? I know a lot of people after the Monday Night Wars kind of fucking left. Some of them haven't even come back. And, we've gained a few, I think, with AEW intact. But anything else you were watching back in the day, like WCW or ECW that you really enjoyed?
Yeah, I mean, I loved ECW, especially like 90. I found it in 97, and I was probably like 13 or something. Maybe no, I was like 11 or 12, and it was like I'd never seen anything like that. Like grunge, talk about punk rock, like grungy kind of like RVD. I remember thinking this dude is the best wrestler I've ever seen in my life.
I know, he's still to this day, brother.
RVD is still awesome,
still great.
So I was I was pretty excited by that. I mean, I would always. If you watch WWF, you would watch WCW too, because guys would interchange so often, you'd want to follow them around. I remember being still super into it and really excited when the NWO came back and Hogan and Rock. Like, I think Hogan and Rock might even be my favorite match.
That's a really good one, dude. I still to this day can think where I was and watching that and just the chills, that was
that's
hard.
Cool.
I don't think like Rock and Cena doesn't even, to me, compare. Like maybe for some younger generation, I get it. But it still doesn't. It doesn't accept what I'm saying as fact, not opinion. But
well, I mean, Rock versus Cena doesn't have the whole the industry changed so much, and Hogan was like such a different thing. It's like Rock and Cena kind of. The industry, it's not like Rock came up in the late 90s, so it was more similar to Cena's era. I don't know. I feel like the Hogan Rock thing was just such a special.
That was and it was supposed to be Austin, dude. Austin and Hogan. That was but they.
I heard that. I mean, I wonder if that would have. I wonder if it was better or the same. I mean, or worse. I don't.
All these years later, I accept it, and I accepted it then. But dude, come on. They had it right there to put Babe Ruth against fucking Mickey Mantle, or however you want to fucking.
And Hogan and Flair. It's like for some reason those two big things just. I mean, Hogan and Flair wrestled plenty, but in WrestleMania.
WrestleMania 8, they had to have the two main events, and they were shopping the fucking Hogan Flair thing on house shows.
Yeah,
and the thing is like, well, it didn't do well.
Yeah, which I don't. I mean, how could that not have?
Yeah, I mean, if you want to get real nerdy about it, I mean, Flair wasn't, was the New York market and shit. I mean, that's still territory days.
On TV, I remember hating him. Like in a good way, in a positive, healthy way. I hated Ric Flair.
Yeah, politics, brother. That's all I could say. That the wrestling world, it's a fucking circus, a bunch of carnies, and it's all politics, and we all love it. We accept it.
I mean, politics is everything, right? And no matter where you go, there's going to be it's going to rear its ugly head.
Yeah. You guys, as far as like what's coming up next or anything, do you like any new updates you want to fucking pop real quick, or anything that's just literally just dropped?
We're about to put out the patch that's got Paulo Ondorf. I redid the tournament screens, got a new face for Brutus Beefcake, some new stuff for him. There's a couple other things in there, and then I'm working on Bad News Brown. He'll be out for real soon. Shawn Michaels with Sherry, like 92 Michaels, Boy Toy Michaels with Sherry. That's coming. The Genius is on deck. We're gonna do the Ultimate Maniacs, Savage and Warrior suits, and and all these things come with their a whole nother round of nonsense, right? So like Ghetto Blaster, I just saw Orson's crafted the Ghetto Blaster, so Bad News is gonna hit that. Like, so everybody's got moves that are coming. Full entrances will be back pretty soon, so it won't be just like the first go walk to the ring and do a pose in the ring.
Right.
We'll get that in there pretty soon. The title mode thing is something to look out for. There might be Piper's Pit coming.
Holy shit, dude. Holy shit.
Kind of mess with the backstage areas, and then you can have people do interviews and things there. So it's like Piper's Pit. So there's things. I mean, we're always working. We've been working on this forever, and I think we will be working on it forever. So and we'll be trying to like up the ante every time we put something out,
Let me ask you this for your own personal use, and this might be a dumb question because I don't like I said, I'm a console fucking gamer. Is this anything at one point you guys could say just for yourselves, put on a disc or something that you could just pop it in your PC and fucking play it?
I don't know. I draw pictures, I'm not so smart with all that. I don't know if it would work that way. It seems like if it was an ISO, it might
just as like a base model of something that you can build off of, like almost like I guess a console, a PC game, but like
there could be a way.
Yeah, just for yourselves, for you guys or whatever. I don't know. Like when it comes
to be looking into any way to make it as easy as possible, like and whatever we can do to kind of like with each generation of releases, or we're like every time we go to work on something, it's like we're going to try. It's big in the list of things we're trying to do to make it just as easy as possible, like just as close to it just being you turn on a system and the game is on as we can get it. And that's one thing cool about the Patreon is like that's funds that we plan on as much as we can just putting back into the game. So if we have to outsource, like we outsourced, we went and found like a hacker, a smart guy to come fix the music tool for us because we had so much problem with the last one. So now you just click it and music starts with the game. Like before, we had to go through a whole bunch of stuff to make that happen. So it's like things like that we'll be trying to do to the point where maybe we can get it to where it's like have it on a disc or a flash drive or just something really easy for everybody. But even now, we've streamlined it to the point now where it's like it's way easier than it had been previously. So I feel good about that.
Dude, and it looks pretty easy to install. I know who's that doing? You is it RGT85 or something?
Yeah, that was cool. That was so cool of him to do that because we didn't have to do that. So that
but real recognize real. It's like, hey, and that helps motherfuckers out. I'm glad there's people like that in the world. If you didn't get anything from our babbling, tonight, you at least go fucking watch this video and install the game.
I hope so, man. I hope everybody again, like I hope it finds its people because it's a labor of love, man. It really is just like, look, if you have any love for No Mercy or old school WWF wrestling, like this is for you. Like we want you to have this. Don't give us any money. Don't worry about any of that. Like you should feel this because it feels pretty damn good.
Fuck yeah, brother. Well, dude, it's been a fucking pleasure having you on. Anytime you guys are fucking welcome to come back on, talk the game, talk wrestling, talk whatever. We like to do a little special episodes here and there, so maybe we'll do a little focus episode one time, have you back and talk some shit.
Whatever you need, man, you let me know.
Hell yeah, brother.
I'll paint my face like Hawk.
You fucking better, dude. I'll fucking shave my, I'll grow out the fucking double if you get the single.
Yeah. Well, I can't do the animal. Those days are gone, but I
go in. Me neither, man. I start looking more like the Repo Man, Repo.
Dude, I think I'm full Mean Gene at this point.
Oh shit, yeah, dude. I used to have when I was growing up here as a kid in Hobart, Indiana. There's a place next to in a bowling alley, and it was Mean Gene's Pizza. And it was
it really
straight up,
this?
yeah, it was straight up Mean Gene on the sign, man. Like I want a sign so bad. I've been looking for years, and it's just like if I do find one, it's way overpriced. But it's like that shit from when I was a kid, and it's like in this little town I live in, you know,
Crazy.
there was Mean Gene's.
That is awesome.
Pizza.
If I could expostulate momentarily on the virtues of this slice.
Yeah. What the fuck? Is that $20 an hour? Fucking love Mean Gene, man.
Oh, man, he was a classic. All those guys.
Dude.
Love Monsoon.
Yeah, dude. Monsoon. Everybody you guys got going on in this game is like that. That's why that makes it so great. All the personalities, you know, it's really a fucking, yeah, great, man. You guys, the hard work that you're putting in, thanks. But thanks to those fucking players, you know, for existing, for being there as wrestling fans, you know.
That's what we're trying to glorify, really.
Yeah, yeah. And much respect, much fucking appreciation, and much appreciation, you motherfuckers out there. If you hit like and subscribe right now and go to prowrestlingtees.com/JPWtees, buy our t-shirts. We've got some new ones dropping. Hey, October 20th and 21st, we're going to be in Miller Beach in Gary, Indiana. Don't be scared. XPW, Hands of Brick, Elbow Deep, Manifestations, Emperor, Masada, Dirty Rod, and the Necro Butcher. Some death match fucking legends are going to be in Gary, Indiana. XPWChicago1.eventbrite.com and XPWChicago2.eventbrite.com. Get your fucking tickets now because they're limited. No ring death match. And it'll be streamed live next day on streamxpw.com. So right now, hit the fucking rate and review if you're listening to podcasting fucking land, and continue to share the fucking love that is Juice Pro Wrestling. Brian, once again, brother, this was a great hang. Thank you so much. We do a little thing, a little ODZE at the end, you know, wet them up, wet them up, wet them up. You gonna do sex to me? Did you like that video? If so, be sure to hit like and subscribe and check out more killer content from your boys at Juice Pro Wrestling. Whoa, yeah!